Welcome, welcome. We're letting everybody into the webinar right now. Thank you for being here. Glad you're here. I woke up in a great mood today, feeling like it's time to put a great plan together for 2025. Hope you all are as well. As you come into the webinar, I'm going to ask my team to promote a group of you to panelists so you can turn on your video and participate. I'd love to see your smiling faces. I'm Verl Workman, by the way, and thanks for being here. A couple of things I want to train you on as we get going here. And first of all, go into the chat box and let me just say welcome to everybody and tell me where you're dialing in from. Let's welcome and see where we're coming in from. There's man, I just got off a great coaching call. I have a client who just put together her best month ever as December. And that's pretty rare to have December be your best month. She's got more in December than she has the entire year. 150,000 in net profit. How's that for a good month? Samara, good to see you. Thank you for turning your video on. Welcome. Okay, it looks like we have Green Bay. Carmen, welcome from Green Bay. Stephanie, Central Virginia. Cool. Yvette in Long Beach. Hopefully you're not in where the fires are again, Yvette. I hate when I see California fires. I can't even say that. How do you say Palousebo, Washington? Henry's here from Seattle. Welcome. All right, let's turn your video on, everybody. So there's a bunch of you that have been invited to be panelists. If you turn your video on, what happens is I get to see you, and then I'm talking to real people, and it changes the way I deliver. The other thing I've learned is when you turn your video on, you have a tendency, and Lachey, you can tell me this is true. When you turn video on, you totally pay attention better. Like you stay engaged because you know I'm looking at you, and if I catch you turning away or looking at your phone, I'll probably call you on you for something, Yvette. You know I will. So thank you for being here. Henry, welcome to the call. Henry, you took the whole training room over. Good for you, man. Amelia from Houston. Love Houston. Randy from Salt Lake and Arizona. Hey, Randy, good to see you, man. Which office are you in? Are you in Arizona or Utah?
I'm here in Salt Lake today.
Good. Okay, let's jump in. All right, so we're going to talk about how to make your 2025 your best year ever, and how do we really plan to plan and act and succeed. I'm going to go ahead and because you've gone in and told me where you're from and you're dialing in from, you know how to use the chat. As I'm talking to you, you just know I have multiple screens going. I have one screen where I look at the camera, another screen where I see all of you. So if you catch me looking over here, it's because that's where I see you. And if you have a question or something you want to do in chat, I want you to use the chat box to ask questions if you have any questions about anything. If you've been invited to be a panelist, and there's a bunch of you on the call that have turned video on, I'm going to encourage you to do that. I'm going to share my screen with you. I got to do a couple of things here. Okay, that worked. So now I've got you here. Now I've got to open my chat box to make sure I've got a chat window open so I see if you ask questions. So we're going to talk about goals, not just goal setting or planning, but we're going to talk about how to really think a little bit differently about your business. And I'm going to give you some tools and some ways to think about your 2025 that will probably make some of you uncomfortable. And if I'm not making you uncomfortable, then I want you to fire me as a coach, because that's my job, is to make you get you out of your comfort zone and do things that you never believed was possible before. Are you all okay with that? Are you okay with just shaking it up a little bit and going after your goals a little bit bigger than maybe you've thought about in the past? Everybody cool with that? Yeah. Okay, Henry's giving me the nod, so he's in. Yvette is as well. Okay, excellent. Well, let's do it. Okay, so you should be seeing my screen, and on your screen you should see Today I Begin a New Life. Is that what everybody's seeing? Somebody give me a thumbs up. Okay, awesome. So I'm a big Ogmandino guy. You know I love Ogmandino. Ogmandino wrote this book right here. It's called The Greatest Salesman in the World: How to Become the Greatest Salesman in the World. And when Ogmandino wrote the book, it's about a young man who goes out on a journey to become a great salesman. He seeks out a mentor, and the mentor tells him that if he goes out and does these specific tasks, when he comes back, he's going to give him the 10 scrolls that will unlock the door to success. And scroll number 1, the first thing he teaches is this concept of forgetting everything you've done in the past and starting fresh. What if, Lashea, I said that today I begin a new life. Today I shed my old skin, which has long suffered the bruises of failure and the wounds of mediocrity. What if today I said we get to have a do-over? What if you get to take all of your past real estate experience and say, that was really good for me, but I'm starting fresh and I'm not going to use any of my past experience to form what my future beliefs are going to be? What if today I get to start fresh? I'm going to give you, let me share with you what I mean by that and really give it to you. Okay, so what if all of you were to go into your chat box and say, I want to, I'm thinking about my 2025 goals. Randy, this would be good for you because I'm going to mess with you a little bit. And I want you to say, okay, everybody give me their 2025 goal. I want your income goal in 2025 in chat. Just put your goal in. Just throw it out there to the world. So go in chat and just say, in 2025, I would like to see what? Okay, Robert, I love it. Okay, look at the numbers. Love this group. 150, 800, 250, 500, 250, 100, 100, 200, 300. Great goals. Okay, love the goals. They're still coming. Love them. Okay, so Randy, if we were to take your $300,000 net and just change it to 3 million, and you can come off mute. I'm going to talk you through this for a minute.
Okay.
What would you have to do so drastically different that would get you to 3 million and 300,000? What would you have to stop doing today, or you'd never achieve it? Now, what I mean by that is, and I'm gonna work this through with you for a second. If Randy, the CEO of a company doing $3 million in net profit, were to advise Randy, the CEO, doing 300,000, what advice would you give yourself?
I'd have to go back into production.
Really? Is that the only way to hit it?
Or I'd have to focus on another revenue stream.
Okay, doing your business the way you do your business, in order to hit 3 million, so Randy, I know Randy because Randy's a Workman coach, but he also is a broker owner. He's also running offices and he's recruiting and building. How many people would you have to attract to hit that number? That's crazy. It's crazy to look at it that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you start thinking about 10x, I want you to think about what you would have to do to get there. And you can put it in Chat GPT. I don't even care. Like run the number. This is what my net profit is per agent. If I wanted to get to 3 million, what would I have to do in order to be able to accomplish it? How would I have to think about my business differently in order to get there? When we do a reset, guys, and I'm talking about this for everybody, when we do a reset and we really look at our business differently, Randy, I know you're a hardworking dude and you love your family. What if instead of getting to your, this might be a 10-year goal, or it could be a 5-year goal, but what if it was a 12-month goal? Like really? Like I would love to work through this with you and really figure out what you would have to do differently to hit that number in 12 months. And then I promise you, a lot of the things that you're focused on today, you wouldn't be able to focus on because you would figure out what things were really, truly going to get you there the fastest. Do you have the right people on the team? Do you have the right structure or organization? Do you have the right comp plans? Is there other ways to create them? Maybe you'd get there just by owning teams in each of your offices. I'd like going back into production. I don't think that would be my answer to you. I would say, let's think about all the offices you have and all the different markets you're in and just own one team in each one. Listing partner, 3 buyers agents, and add transaction coordinator, centrally focused, lead generation, setting up your Zillow Flex teams, making sure that you've got, all of the different elements in place. I just wonder if you looked at your business that way, there might be a different way of getting to your number faster. Is it possible?
It's possible.
All right. Does that make you a little bit uncomfortable when I push you out that way?
Yeah, it's definitely a stretch, and it's definitely a shift in direction.
Well, just think about it. Like at the end of the day, and look, I'm not here to tell anybody that their goals are not good. I'm saying that if you got to start fresh, knowing everything you know now, would you do the thing that you're doing? Would you focus in the area that you're focused on, or would you like start over, or would you do it completely different? I'm thinking this way, and I'll tell you what it's causing me to do is it's causing me, I'm not going to blow up my business. I'm not going to change anything that I'm doing. I love what I do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at new ways of doing things. So instead of having little bitty incremental growth where we go, from X to Y, I want to go from X to 10X. And I can't do it doing the same thing that got us here. We have to do things differently. So today you get to start fresh. Augmendino says, today I begin a new life. Today I shed my old skin, which has long suffered the bruises of failure and the wounds of mediocrity. That's the, hey, I've gotten where I am, which is pretty good. But if I want to go somewhere different, I got to let stuff go. So how do we get there? Well, we're going to get there by building and executing a plan, and you can choose to do a simple plan or a complex plan. It's up to you. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to give both of them to you. Those of you that are on the call today, as we go through this, Carmen and Samara, everyone that's on the call, Scott Kirk, glad you're here. I just want you to look at a bigger number than your number. And if you took your 250, and let's just double your 250. So Scott wrote 250 in here. Scott, what if we just didn't play with the number 250 this year? What if we only played with the number 500,000? And I helped you build a plan today that got you from where you currently are to $500,000 in gross closed income. Would that be a game changer for you, Scott? You can go in the chat or come off mute. Okay. So yeah, it's a game changer. So what would it do for your family? How would it impact your life? Having $500,000 versus $250,000. What would be the massive impact that would have on your life and your business? What would you do differently? What's the level of stress that would it take away? What happens when you do that? I'm waiting for Scott to go in the chat and respond. I'd add to my retirement plans. Yeah, that sounds fine. But what would it really do? What would it really do? Like how does it really change the way you make decisions or how you vacation or how you travel? If all you're gonna do is put it in the bank and retire, how do you define living well, Scott? What does live well mean to you? Because I want you to live well throughout your life and then retire, continue to live well. I don't want you to put off living well now so that someday you retire and hope that you are in physically enough shape to be able to do that. What does it mean to live well? And I'm asking Scott this, but really it's for everybody. If you took your double goal, Lachey, and you put your double number in there, how would that impact your life? What would change? There you go. When you say spend more time with my family, that's meaningful to me. Putting more money in retirement sounds hollow. I know you want it because it gives you stability and security, but spending the time with your family, like define what that really means. Spending 3 weeks in Europe or going to every Disneyland everywhere all over the world with my kids. That's kind of some people have that goal. Whatever that means for you, I want you to just kind of focus on that. So everybody take your number, and I want you to, as we build through your business plans today, I want you to focus on your double number. I said, Randy, let's do 10 times your number because I think he's capable of that. And I want him to think like that because I know that he has that capacity inside of him. And I think all of you can as well. We form all of our goals based on our experiences we've had in our life till right now. And so, Lachey, you've had all these experiences that have gotten you where you are. And then we set new goals based on these experiences because that makes you believe what's possible. I'm wiping it out. I'm saying bullcrap on all that. There is no limit to what you can accomplish. We just have to think differently. I want you to think different, not the same. Okay? New experience today. Okay, so we start with a business plan. In your business plan, I'm going to kind of follow this table of contents as I take you through this. And let's just go through. I'm going to run out of time. I can spend the whole time just helping you think about the big double. And so instead of that, I'm going to get to tactical. So first of all, number one is you have to make a choice today that you're willing to hold yourself accountable. And so accountability is not something I can do to you. So if I were coaching you and you did not choose accountability, we would have a coaching relationship that was based on conflict. And so, Lachey, if I was trying to make you do something you didn't want to do, what would you do? Like, can I make you do anything you don't want to do? Really? Nope. So accountability is not something I can do to you. It's a choice you make. So you began our journey together by making a choice that you're going to do the activities that the average agents are not willing to do. And many of them are basic fundamentals. If you want to go from where you are, let me see, did you put your big goal in here? Lachey, did you did $100,000. Okay. $100,000, your numbers, we're not playing at $100,000. Are you full-time in real estate? Okay, we're not doing that. That is not your number. Never say that number again. Your number is 250K. 250. Let's just do that. You okay with that? Okay. So 250 is the number. Everybody take your double number and write in here how many transactions you have to do in order to hit that. So in order to hit $250,000 of income, how many deals do you have to do in a year? In order to hit your double number, Carmen, in order to hit your double number, Randy, in order to hit your double number, how many do you have to recruit? What does it look like? Robert, in order to hit your 500,000, Henry, in order to hit your 1.6 million, I need to know your transaction numbers. Give me your total, give me your deals. Okay, Yvette, thank you. 60. Love that number. 25. John, I love that. Is that your double number? I mean, it's only 2 a month. Amelia, 50. Scott Kirk, love it. 32. Okay, we're starting to get real here. 48, 60. Okay, I don't have a number on here yet that is like, ooh, that's scary. I don't have a scary one yet. So I love all your numbers. Randy's got to get to 36 new offices. Totally doable, Randy. There's a mass migration going on right now. Crazy what's going on in the marketplace. Okay, John. Okay, everyone's got your number in there. Okay, I love that. Okay, so if that's your real number, are you willing to hold yourself accountable to do the task to get it? Are you willing to do the work? Yes or no? So let's start with the first commitment. Are you willing to do the work? If I lay it out for you, are you willing to do the work? Yes or no? It has to be so clearly yes. Okay. It has to be so clearly yes that, let me reframe it for you, Lachey. Does your family count on your income? Is your income help the family? Do they need it? And you can come off mute and talk to me. Like, is it helpful?
It is helpful. I'm not the breadwinner, but it is helpful.
But if you hit $250,000, would that be more than helpful?
Yes.
Would it be game changing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's what we're going to, you're doing this full time. So we're going to use that number, $250,000. And your number of transactions is how many?
I actually don't know how these people are figuring it out, but
Hey, let me help you. How much money do you make when you sell a house?
I would say anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000.
Okay. So are you on a team?
No, I think the middle price range here is like 250.
Okay. So middle price range is 250. So you should be making between let's just say 5,000. You need to sell 50 homes. 50.
Okay.
It's barely one a week. It's not even a big deal. John says, okay, my family's counting on me. Now, what if I told you this? What if this is an accountability thing. In order for you to sell 50 houses, you're going to have to go on 100 appointments with buyers or sellers for the purpose of getting a agreement signed. 50 buyer agreements, 50 listing agreements. I would prefer you only focused on listings and that you hit 100% of your goal with listings only. Yep, John, you too, man. Like 100% of your goal with listings only. That means you have to go on 100 listing appointments. So let's break that down, Lachey, for you. If I took 100 listing appointments, we divide it by 12 months, You have to go on 8.3 a month or 2 a week. The way that we measure success at the end of every single week is, did you get and go on 2 listing appointments? Now, when I break it down like that, if you woke up every day, and I want you to just like, I don't know if you understand what it means to be intensely obsessed with something. Like, you're so obsessed with it, it's going to happen no matter what. I don't know what that is for you, but that's how I need you to look at your listing appointments. So, John, when you get up every day, because your family's counting on you, the way you measure success today is, did you get one? Did you get a listing appointment today? You wake up and you prospect, you work FSBOs, you do notice as a default, you're calling expired, you're knocking doors around your open houses, you're flyering neighborhoods, you're going to your networking groups. So the focus of getting 1 listing appointment every day and 2 a week. 2 a week is let's say it, come on, 2 a week. If like that's your intense obsession, and the only way you're going to get paid at the end of the year is if you went on 100 listing appointments this year, meaning at the end of the year, you're going to get all of your 250,000 or you're going to get 0 of it. You go on 2 listing appointments a week, I'm going to write you a check for 250,000. If you miss it and you don't go on 100 listing appointments this year, you get none of it, 0. Is there any chance you take 0 home to your family this year? No way? I believe that. Okay, so that's what I mean by accountability. Accountability means like you operate and you work like your life depends on it. And you get rid of all the crap and all of the distractions and all of the fake work and all of the pretending of being busy when you're not doing the activities that generate that kind of a result. And your result is 2 appointments. John, I love your interaction online here. You got to hit those. You got to hit your number, whatever that number is for you. I got to find your number here. 50 deals. Okay, 50 deals. Not even a big number. Okay, 50 deals. And I don't even and I'm going to tell you that when you're that laser focused, you learn to delegate, or you learn to create leverage in the other areas of your business and life. And so you're actually going to be working less at 250,000 than you are today at 100,000, because you're going to be smart and focused on the activities, and you're going to choose accountability. Accountability, I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, everybody on this call, is the number 1 most important choice you will ever make. You choose it. And then when you have a coach, the coach reminds you of the commitments you made to your family and then asks you if you're on track. And then you choose whether or not to make a course correction and keep moving forward. Your coach is your GPS guide. Accountability is the choice you made to stay on track. Does that make sense? So I'm going to help you get there. Okay, so we're going to start by doing a strategic plan. And the first thing I want you to do is I want you to do number 2. So when you see, by the way, I'm going to give everybody a QR code with the download. You can have it, the whole thing I'm going to give you today. I'm going to take you through the whole business plan. But I want you to start with number 2. What do you want your life to look like in 5 years? I want you to define what your life looks like, not your business. Don't tell me how many houses you're selling, how much money you're making. I want you to say, my kids' college is paid for. I'm doing a vacation once a week or once a month for a week. This is what my life looks like. I'm giving back to my community. I'm involved in my church group. I'm making a difference with pets. Whatever motivates you, I want you to put your life plan in place. Okay. Once you define what your life looks like in 5 years, then you can go back to your business and say, in order for my life to have these things, here's what my business has to be doing. So I want you to create a lifestyle, and then I want you to build a business that supports your lifestyle. I don't want you to build a business that becomes your lifestyle. Do you understand the difference, what I'm saying? If your business is your life, we're not doing it right. So we're going to do first your life, then your business. And then I want you to say, okay, so in order to be on track for my 5-year plan, what has to be going on 12 months from now at the end of 2025? And then what has to be going on 6 months from now? So both in business and in life, I want you to outline that with great detail. Can I ask y'all to do that? This is where we start. Okay, next step is I want you to set up your core values. I want you to run and operate your business based on a set of core values. Core values are the center to everything. You know, I just got off a coaching call, Randy, with a client that was asking me about their sales leadership. And we were talking about whether or not this person was the right person for the job. And as we went through and we were talking about whether or not this person was the right person for the job, Henry, instead of looking at the job description and going through and looking at whether or not they were doing the job, I said, bring up your core values. Are they in alignment with integrity? Are they in alignment with gratitude? Are they in alignment with reliability? Are they in alignment with communication? Are they in alignment with responsibility, empathy, and education? When I went through the core values, we found out we were out of alignment in the core values. And the impact of that was the job wasn't getting done and we weren't making the progress we need. Does that make sense? We hire and fire core values. And so in your business plan, there's a whole workshop, a whole worksheet that takes you through it. This is one team, is Nick Payne's team with Meta Homes. These are his core values. This is Mahalo Landon. She owns a company called the Carolina Collective Team. And this is how she's with Real. This is what her core values are. And they're simple. Her core values are simple. They are integrity, professionalism, people focus, and commitment. Give me any problem that you have in your business, and I'll go to your core values and tell you whether or not we have a problem. Most issues are a result of our inability to execute and be clear on what our values are. Let me give you an example of that. If you said that one of my core values is integrity, and you made a commitment to get one listing appointment a week, but you actually didn't fulfill your commitment, are you in or out of integrity? If you make promises to yourself, but you don't keep it, that's out of alignment with integrity, isn't it? What we do is like, and by the way, I would ask Yvette, if we were having a conversation, I would say, is your word your bond? If you tell me you're going to do something, you do it. 100%. And that's usually the case, except the promises we make to ourselves. We have a tendency to not keep the commitments we make to ourselves. We do when somebody reminds us. So, our word is our bond, but integrity starts with, are you keeping the promises you made to yourself? You bring God in the mix and it really gets crazy, because now you're making commitments to even a higher power and asking, are we keeping those commitments we made? Core values are critical, so I'm going to encourage you to do it. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to really take a good look at your business. And the way we take a look at our business is we do a SWOT analysis. We look at our strengths, our weaknesses, the opportunities, and threats. I'm going to take you through this first and give you an example how you do that. So under the strengths, you see on the where it says strengths. These are internal to you. What are the things that you have going for you that make you strong? It might be a great database, attention to detail. I've got all of these strengths. I'm a good negotiator. I've got financial resources, so I'm not stressed out with money. I have a big network. These are great strengths. List all of the strengths. I love working with people. I know the market well. I love new construction. What are your strengths? And then internally, I want you to ask yourself, what are your weaknesses? Or what are the things your ex-spouse would say are your weaknesses? What are the people who know you the most? And I want you to be real with your weaknesses. What would you say are your weaknesses? Some of my weaknesses are attention to detail, overly optimistic. That could be a strength and a weakness, couldn't it? I don't like, well, I do. So I would say prospecting might be a weakness. I don't like prospecting. I love hunting. Prospecting. What about presentation skills or negotiation? What about market knowledge? Weaknesses are things that you own. You have that. I don't like doing the accounting. That's a true weakness of mine. I've had to become better at it as I run a company, but like I need my CPA to give me the pie chart and just show me where we are on all the things. He likes to show me the spreadsheets of how he came up with all of the conclusions. And I just don't resonate with that, because it causes me to work at a high level of stress. I'd rather just know how it ends. So once you've done your strengths and your weaknesses, by the way, what do you think I'm going to have you do with your weaknesses? As I talk about weaknesses, what do you think I'm going to ask you to do with them? You can go and chat and just tell me what you think. By the way, thank you for being so interactive today. Okay, improve on them, make them our strengths, delegate them, outsource them. Okay, so you're all accurate. You're all accurate. So here's the truth. First of all, you have to ask the question, just because it's on my list as a weaknesses, does that mean it's something I have to do? So acknowledging it is the first thing. I think that's great. The second thing is ask this question. Is there a system or a process that will allow my weakness to become a strength? So if lack of follow-up is one of your weaknesses, by using your CRM better and by putting people on follow-up systems and using action plans, can you use that technology to make a weakness become a strength? Catherine, are we able to apply technology to make weaknesses become strengths sometimes?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no question. So we acknowledge it first. Hey, I'm not good at this. Number two, is there a system for it? And then the third question is there somebody else that could do this for me? Is there an assistant or a system that I can delegate this to that will take this off my plate? One of the things I've learned from a financial perspective is this. I already suck at it. So when I focus on it and work really hard to do it myself, I can do it, but it causes me to do it at such a high level of stress and anxiety that I can't do it if I am doing anything else. I have to put blinders on and just go like zero in. So what I found is if I put my efforts in prospecting, then the amount of money it costs me to hire someone else to do that, I make 10 times that when I'm doing the things that generate revenue. Does that make sense? So instead of focusing on the things that you're weak at, focus on the things you're good at that drive business and delegate everything else. What a beautiful thing. And sometimes, Samara, we're not really very honest with ourselves in our weaknesses. And so I want you to ask two of your close business relationships to look at you and your business and do a SWOT analysis on you. What would they say about your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and threats in the marketplace? And then I want you to get a couple of real estate people that you respect, team leaders, broker owners, people that you have high level respect for. And I want you to ask them to do a SWOT analysis on you. What do you see as my strengths? What do you see as my weaknesses? What are the opportunities that are in the market that I'm not currently taking advantage of? And what are the threats I need to be aware of? By the way, as I talk about opportunities and threats, they're external. What are opportunities you're currently not doing? I don't want you to say, here's what I'm going to do. I just want you to recognize all the opportunities so you can choose what to do. You should have a huge list of opportunities. Opportunities is everything like online leads, social media, door knocking, wrapping all my cars, building a team, working FSBOs, expireds, open houses. There are so many ways. Absentee owners, notices a default. There's so many ways. There's an unlimited number of opportunities that you're currently not taking advantage of that exist in the market. I want you to acknowledge and recognize them. And then what I want you to do with the opportunities is I want you to look at your strengths and say, how do I apply my strengths to take advantages of opportunities that I'm not currently taking advantage of today? You may have a network of, I met somebody who was a teacher for 30 years that came into real estate. And I said, what are your strengths? She says, well, I'm a teacher. I've got, kids that I've taught for 30 years in my database. I've done a good job staying in touch with them. But she didn't acknowledge that as an opportunity. Oh my gosh, work your database. Work your database. You have all these opportunities out there. How do you turn those relationships into opportunities? And we built a whole plan around that. And so somebody didn't even recognize the opportunities because you didn't go through this process. Okay. So once you identify the opportunities, you apply your strengths to the opportunities, you'll start to get really clear on what you should focus on. And then we look at threats. Threats are nothing more than acknowledging what's going on in the marketplace and then learning how to message to the market. Threats are opportunities to take market share. Because what most agents do when they see threats is they pull back. And what I want you to do is to lean in. Okay. I'm going to give you two different worksheets for this. I'm going to give you this worksheet. I'm going to also give you a spreadsheet that you can use. When you do your income goal sheet, what you want to do with this is we're going to put your income goal of your gross and then your expenses. So you start with the bottom gross and then percent of expenses, then your net. I want you to run your business at a 50% adjusted gross profit after your cost of sale. Now that's complex. What I mean by that is if you're going to pay other people to work for you, like a buyer's agent or a listing partner or whatever, you need to be at a 50% profit after the cost of generating and closing that deal. And so just know that that's the target number. Once you figure all this out, this is what I was doing in the beginning is we said, okay, you got to figure out your number of transactions. I want you to look at how many listings you need, how many buy things. I'm going to give you some numbers that'll help you with this. This is an automated way to accomplish the same thing. You fill out all the highlighted green areas, what your goal is, what your expenses are, what your average commission is, whatever that is for you, what your splits on, the average sale price of a home, and then what percent comes from buyers versus sellers. You have 100% from listings, it'll give you that number. And then it helps you break down all of the things you need, how many appointments you need in order to be able to get to your goal. So I'm going to give you the spreadsheet that you just fill out, and then it'll give you your numbers to get really clear on what you have to accomplish. Is that helpful if you have it like this? Okay, we don't have time to go work through all this today. I just want to make sure that you have all the resources. And then I want you to, the net profit number is really the only number that matters. This is a cash flow budget worksheet that we use with our coaching clients, where we actually figure out all of the monthly, quarterly, and annually fees you have. We figure out what it's going to take to get to your net number of what you have to take home every month to hit your real goal. We also do what we call is profitability benchmarking. Profitability benchmarking is where we take all your expenses and we say, okay, these are the kind of the averages for a business of your size. And then we put in what yours are. And then we ask, are you there or not? Are you in alignment? So a lot of people don't know where they should be. And so that's called benchmarking. And we start by tracking. A few Verlisms for today. One of them is going to be that which gets measured gets done. When you don't measure it, you don't focus on it, and it doesn't become important to you. And so that we have to measure the important things in our business or our life. My business grew exponentially when I started paying attention to the numbers, to the profitability, to the budgets, to the things that we were doing. And when I wasn't paying attention to those things, I felt like I was always busy, but never having enough money. You ever feel like that? Like, you're busy all the time, but you don't feel like there's enough money. It's because we're not paying attention to the right things. So I want you to pay attention to the right things. This is one of the things your coach is going to spend a lot of time with you on, is really making sure that you're focused on paying attention to the right things. Okay. All right. As you're building out your business plan, there's some things we know that are predictable because we track it all. Here's some of those numbers. Number one is this. For every closed listing you get, you should have 1.5 buy-side closings. So Lashaya, I'm messing with you. And I'm messing with you because I love you. I want you to have an amazing life, an amazing family. I want you to make more money than you've ever believed was possible. Are you okay with that? I really I feel that. Like when I see you, I say, okay, I'm gonna help you kill it. So we just talked about you generating 50 listings, right? And that your goal was to wake up every day and to be intensely obsessed with whether or not you got 2 listing appointments this week. That means no mani-pedis, you don't get your hair done, you can't go get a massage, you don't get to go on date night, none of the fun stuff that makes your weekend great if you didn't get your 2 appointments. Accountability is real. You got to create that for yourself. Okay. But understand that if you get 50 listings, you're going to generate 1.5 buy-side closings for every one of those listings. And that every listing is going to generate 6 to 8 leads a month. And that for every 25 leads we generate, you're going to have to add a buyer's agent. This is why we build teams. And so if you focus on that one thing that's the most important to you, which is generate 2 listing appointments, you're going to need someone to work the buy sides. And so we'll coach you through that as you start doing it. If you focus on the listing side, like I'm telling you, you'll have all the money in the world you need to hire the team and to create the infrastructure I'm talking about. But just know that if you did this, I'm going to show you what that means to you financially, okay? All right, I'm going to just use $10,000 a listing because I have to pick a number, okay? So if you focused on, instead of 2 listing appointments a week, 3 listing appointments a week, really what I want you to just give is 1 a day. Okay. But so if you just did 3 a week and your average is $10,000. Now, Scott, there's a lot of people in here, Scott and John and Carmen, everybody was in here. I want you to look at the numbers you put in here for your goals. And if you took 100% of your goals and focused them on listings, what would happen? If you went on 3 listing appointments a week at $10,000 per listing, you would generate $600,000 of income just on listings. Based on that every listing generates 1.5 buyer side closings, without you ever working with a buyer, if you did it the Workman way, if you followed the process that we use, we put buyer's agents on 40-60 splits for the first 2 deals in a month. Then they go on 45-55 and then 50-50. So it's a graduated scale. We teach you how to do this. What happens is you generate your 600,000 that you keep because you're the listing partner. You keep another 432,000 just in the team leader keep on the buyer agent side of the deals. And your buyer's agents all made $100,000 a year. How many agents in your marketplace that if they made $100,000 a year, that would be game changing for them? So you're not just helping your family, but you're helping the families of others who would never get there without you, because you're going to put them into a system that generates predictable outcomes. Because we just track the right thing. I'll show you some things that we use to track, but we know this math works. It just works. Randy, you've seen this over and over and over and over again. It works. Catherine, you know that it works. You've seen it over and over and over and over again. And so if you focus on the right thing, if you focus on the right things, the results are staggering. Lashea, I don't know if you know what I just did to you, but I took you from a $100,000 goal to a 250 goal. And then I took you from a 250 goal to just changing it from just doing 2 appointments a month to just do 1 a day. Do you understand that I just doubled your goal again? And I showed you how to build $1 million business. Do you believe you're worth $1 million a year? I believe you are. But if I was your chairman of your board of directors and I looked at the activities you focused on, would I be okay with my $1 million CEO doing the activities she focused on today? Or would I have you focus on different things? What do you think?
I focus on this and much more.
I would probably eliminate all of the stuff that isn't directly related to generating listing appointments from your life. Everything else is a distraction. And we get so laser focused. And if I'm going to pay you $1 million a year, you know that's more than 100,000 a month. You better get your listing appointment every day, or you won't be on the payroll very long. That's how you have to operate. You have to behave and think and execute with that level of commitment. Behave like you're worth $1 million. Do $1 million activities. Delegate everything else out. It's kind of fun to think this way, isn't it? You know what's more fun than thinking this way? Behaving this way. Because when you behave this way, you get the results. Samara, it's just time to stop messing around and just knock it out of the park. You okay with that? Give me a thumbs up. Like, let's stop playing. Let's do this. Okay. All right. So the next thing to do, here's how you do it. So, Samara, when you're looking at your business plan, the way that we get to whatever your number is, whatever your number of listing appointments you need, I know that Lashea's is 2 a week. What I want you to do is I want you to create 4 pillars of income where each pillar generates 100% of your appointment goal. So you have to have 4 ways of generating 2 appointments a week, 4 ways of accomplishing it. It's simple, but it's a little bit complex. So for example, this might be what you do. I'm going to work my sphere of influence or my top 50. I'm going to get 2 appointments with FSBOs and expireds. I'm going to get 2 appointments with my online lead generation. I'm going to get 2 appointments through open houses. Whatever that is for you, you have to build a plan that hits 100% of your $500,000 goal or your 250 goal in each of the 4 pillars. Once you've broken this down, you build your action plans around that. It gets a lot easier. Now, I'm going to show you how we accomplish the goals. When we set goals, what do we do to accomplish those? First of all, you establish your goal, which is I want to make 500,000 or 250 or whatever your number is. And then you tell me what your why is. And you cannot give me a fake reason. You have to give me the real why, the real core value. Most people, when it comes down to it, when I really get deep with their whys, it has to do with stability and security for their family, take away the money stress. And oftentimes they want to be successful because they believe that it's going to allow them to be loved or to be able to give more love. Like that core need of being loved is so big. And when somebody says, my why is, well, I want to do my retirement. Well, it's really because you want to live well in retirement with somebody you love, whatever that is for you. And defining that is what's important, because if you don't come up with the real why, you won't do the hard things. And then I'm going to ask you to, in advance, as you're looking at this in a little bit more detail, once you've given me the goal and once you've given me the why, I want you to tell me in advance the excuses you're going to give me for failure if you don't hit it. If you don't hit 2 appointments a week, Lashea, what are you going to use as excuses for failure? And then one by one, I want you to go through and resolve each excuse so you can't use it this year. We're going to eliminate all of your excuses for failure before we ever go out and tackle this. Okay. Anna and Yvette and Hope, is this helpful? Like all of my fun people that are on this webinar, am I helping you think through how we get there? Like, it's one thing to set big goals. It's another thing to actually have a strategic methodology or practice in actually getting there. And I hope that I'm giving you the, like, this is how you do it. This is not pie in the sky stuff. This is how we execute. This is how we really do it. If you were a coach in training or you're one of my clients, this is how we teach you to do it. And we actually do the work. So I want you to do 5 business goals and 5 specific personal goals that you're going to focus on. And when you do your personal goals, I want you to look at life balance. What are the things you're going to focus on this year with your family, your faith, your friends, your fun, and your fitness? What are the things that you need to focus on in order to hit your goals this year? And how do we do it so we don't do it at the expense of the things that matter most? Because like, if you told me you were going to hit all these big financial numbers, but you were going to give up your faith, you're going to give up doing fun things, you weren't going to focus on your family, I won't help you get there. It can't be about the money. It has to be about the lifestyle for me. So I'll help you get there, but it's not at the expense of these things. Okay. However you define success in those areas, let's do it with a great level of. And then what we're going to do is we're going to build an action plan for each of those areas. Every goal should have an action plan with all of the specific details on what has to be done, by when, and who's going to do it. So in order to execute your plan, let's just lay it out. Let's go through and build action plans around that. We use a process in coaching called Agile. I probably don't have time for it, but I'll show it to you later if I do. I want to introduce to you Christy Buck. Christy Buck is a Workman Success client that I met in 2012. This is what Christy looks like today, and this is what her team looks like today. She's in Houston, Texas. If you know Christy, you are in Houston, you probably know about her team. She works out in the Pearland area, Friendswood. When I first met Christy, she was a single individual agent, and she was looking to build her business. And this is the assessment that she filled out. I said, Christy, how long have you been in real estate? 20 years. What's your best and worst year? She's like, I don't know, 50 to 100,000, could be 175. I really don't know. I said, okay, based on the income above, where does your business come from? And she kind of wrote it all down. And then I said, okay, what are the 5 things you focus on? She says, negotiating, setting appointments, preparing for appointments, reviewing files, and making a list of things to do them. The last 3 things on that list are all things that somebody else should do. They're all delegatable tasks. And I said, what activity do you think is the most important thing to your level of income? She said, if I want to grow, I got to keep business in my pipeline. Does anybody else resonate with this? Like, this is the number one thing. I said, okay, great. How many hours a day do you spend prospecting? She said, none. Wait, this is your number one most important thing. How much time you spend doing it? None. All right, well, how many days a week? She said, stop asking me that question. I'm not even going to respond to it. No response. I said, what's your most urgent business problem? And this is really kind of, for me, hits home. She says, I want to build the foundation of a great business, but I got to build the business at the same time. I can't take my foot off the gas and stop making money while I build it. I've got to be making money all along. And so I said, I get that. Okay, what's your big, hairy goal? She said, I just want to make $500,000. I said, how's your financial situation? It's fairly stable. She said, I make $230,000 to $300,000. What's interesting is every financial question is different. She answered every question differently because she didn't really have any tracking systems in place. I said, do you live within your means? She says, yes. What do you think you'd have to do to double your business? She said, I could farm. I thought that was an interesting response. I said, how much is a priority making money? She says, high. I said, what holds you back financially? She said, fear of spending more in order to make more. Is that true with any of you? Like the fear of like investing in something and not knowing it's going to work? I get it. And I said, do you feel like you have ample time for your non-business activities? She says, no. And this is why I took her on as a client. She says, I never have time to stop working and be a mom. I feel like if I'm not working, I might not make ends meet. So I work 13 hours a day. Christy is a single mom. And I said, is there anything else you'd like to know about Verl? You want Verl to know before you talk to him. And she writes in all caps, help. Would you like to see what Christy's business is doing now? Like, would you like to see how she trends, what she does? So this is her summary of her month-to-month sales. 5 million, 6 million, 11 million, 13 million, 11 million, 11 million, 15 million, 13 million, 15 million. Looks like a pretty good year. This is her closed transaction count, usually between 25 and 30, sometimes as many as close to 40. This is her month-to-month income, month over month. 111,000, 140,000, 270,000, 208,000, 203,000, 296,000. Where do you think we're going to hit our $500,000 goal? Many times over. When you look at Christy's trajectory, let me see if I have a slide on that. I think I have it. Let's see. Yeah, here's your year-over-year growth. Christy went from 250 to 575 to 1.1 to 2.1 to 1.9. There are a bunch of hurricanes in Houston. And went to 2.6, 2.9, 3.4, 3.6, and 3.3. What we've done is we found that her sweet spot is to be between 3 and 4 million in commissions and in gross and $1 million net. So $1 million gross commission and $1 million net. Then she can invest in other things. When you look at the things she's focused on, this is her project backlog: hiring 6 agents, helping her underproducing agents get higher, creating a top 50 referral plan, all of those things. This is her project backlog, and then this is what it looks like when she executes. By the way, Christy's goal isn't 60 listing appointments a year, Shay, it's 60 a month. It's just a number, right? But she started at 250. Just making 250,000. So we start somewhere and then we build on it. And so the reason Christy gets stuff done is because she executes on the basic fundamentals that everybody else knows they should do. When I tell a broker they got to hire 6 agents in 30 days, they go, I haven't hired 6 agents in 30 years. When I say to Christy, you got to hire 6 agents in 30 days, we build a sprint for it and then figure out what has to be done. And then she does the work. And she delegates things she's not going to do. And that's why she has the numbers she does, is because she puts in the work and does the activities that everybody else says they're willing to do, when it comes to accountability, they actually don't. All right, so we talked about goal. For those of you that want to simplify your business plan, I also created a 1-page business plan. You can do this with 1 page. Give me your 1-year financial goals, your 5 goals, your 4 pillars, and your action plan. So we can take your whole business plan, we can break it down into all the great detail, which I encourage you to do. But for those of you that have the attention deficit of a gnat, like me, a 1-page business plan is a great way to do it too. We just get in there, we fill it out, and we just go to work and we start to execute. It's all about choices, and it's all about habits. We are all creatures of habit. Good habits unlock the door to success. Bad habits are the unlocked door to failure. You all have habits. How many of you would agree that some of your current habits could be replaced with better habits? I'm not even saying your habits are bad. I'm just saying, is it possible we could replace some of your current habits with better habits? And that's exactly what I'm talking about. And so, John, you say you want to work on it. I'm going to give you the tool. It's your daily success habits tracker. And so we start tracking what we do every single day in 30-minute increments on the left-hand column. What if you wrote down every day what you did in 30-minute increments? What do you think we would discover about your business? I'm going to tell you, I know what it is. We would discover how little time you spend doing dollar productive activities. And when we discover how little time, then you can make course corrections. With the daily success habits tracker, I want you to do 61 points a day doing dollar productive activities. This tells you how many points you get. This tells you how many you actually did. I want to know when you prospect. I want to know when you end. I want to know when you start. I want to know how many appointments were set. And I want to know how many appointments were met. The daily success habits tracker, when done correctly, is game changing, because this is what we learn. I learned that it takes 5 minutes per contact or conversation, 18 conversations to make an appointment. I can get an appointment every 90 minutes when prospecting, which means I generate $7,000 an hour of income when I'm prospecting or hunting for business. Greatness, my friends, is predictable if you focus on the right things. But because we don't measure it, it doesn't get done. Hope says, I would discover time wasting, especially not focusing on non-income producing activities. Okay, so let's do it. So Hope, if that's what you discover, how are we going to change it? Let's do it. Let's track it for 30 days. My gosh, if you're already coaching with Workman, great. Then get with your coach. Let's go through it. If you're not coaching, set up a coaching consult and talk to us. Let us help you, because this stuff is predictable. And having somebody walk along with this next to you as you're trying to figure this out is so much easier than doing it yourself. Okay. By the way, we track daily success habits in our workbench coaching system. Imagine having hundreds of agents on teams, all putting their data in, telling us how many points they're getting, and it shows you what their income is: 32 million, 4 million, 3 million, 2.8 million, 2.4 million. If your name's not on this list and you want it here, there's something all these people have in common. They track the activities that generate the results, and then we coach to the gaps. So I know that if somebody's making calls and they're not getting appointments, we know to focus on what they're saying. If they're getting appointments, they're not getting buyer listing agreements, then we coach on better presentation skills. If we're getting listing agreements or buy agreements signed, but we're not closing, then we teach them how to be better at real estate because they're not doing the right things for the client. And so there's all of these tracking things that give us the ability to coach to the gaps. And if you don't have somebody looking at your numbers from this perspective, then you're probably trying to figure it out yourself. And the problem is you don't know what you don't know because you're not coaching people at the level that are where you want to be. And because we're already working with people that are there, we can know and see what you're missing. And so those are just a few of the things. I have a couple more stories I want to tell, but I don't have time to do it. I'm going to tell you that you can get to seven-figure success if you want there, but you need to know your numbers. You've got to do your daily success habits. You have to build a culture based on productivity. Anything you do 3 times, we have to create a system for it because we have to duplicate you in that effort. I want somebody else to be able to do it. And then get a productivity coach, hire someone that can help you get from where you are to where you want to go. I don't know of anybody who is in the big leagues that doesn't have a multiple of coaches help them get there. So what's the big massive action you're going to take in 2025? What is the big massive action you're going to do? Because you can't take small incremental steps. If you want to get to $1 million, Lashaya, you have to take massive action. And for you, I hope it is 2 listing appointments a week and that you're going to be so intensely obsessed because when you do that massive action, all the other things you need that I put on this plan will fall into place and then we'll guide you, we'll help you through that process as we coach you through it. Massive action is the only way you get to massive results. You can't get to the massive results without the massive action. Everybody grab this. Go right now. Use the QR code on here. Download the full business plan workbook. And then when you go to find your fit, it'll ask you if you want to set up a coaching consultation or fill out your find your fit form. It tells us more about you. You can download some additional bonus stuff. Just do both and set up a call with one of our business consultants and let's just kind of see where you are and see if we're able to help you go forward this year. How many of you believe after being on this call with me that there's another level that you could probably be performing at? Do you believe it, Samara? How many of you want to go there? Like you believe, but you want to go. So let's go. So how do we get there? Robert, let's go. Let's go. Let's stop talking about it. Let's start doing it. Remember, everything we do is a system and it's predictable. I can look at your daily success habits and I can predict your outcome. As much as greatness is predictable, average is also predictable. Would I be able to recognize predictable average? And we're going to do all this thing at your family. Here's a great picture of my family this summer all around the pool. These are my brothers and my sisters and my grandkids, and they're all hanging out together. We have an unbelievable family. I wanted to build an environment and a business that my family would want to be part of. And I want you to think about what's important to you because I work and behave differently because of the people on this screen. I want them around me and I want to create opportunities for them that I never had as a child growing up. And I hope you do the same thing. And remember that life's not a journey to the grave with the intention of arriving pretty and safely in a well-preserved body to ride a skid-in broadside, thoroughly used up and totally worn out, loudly proclaiming together, guys, let's do it. Woo! What a ride. Let's have a great ride in 2025 together. Thanks for being here today. I hope this was helpful. If you didn't get the downloads, make sure you get them. I'll see you on the next Workman webinar. Thanks for being here, everybody.